Welcome back to Try Business International. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Babbittville and Endurance Sports Wire. With me, Sara Gross from Try Equal.
Yes.
How you doing, Sara?
I'm doing great, Bob. Thanks. How are you?
Seems like every Monday we chat.
Every Monday, chat with Bob.
I love it. So for our audience, talk a little bit about your background to get started, because from Canada, and you've had a very interesting background because you lived in Abu Dhabi, you were in Scotland, and then you found this crazy sport of triathlon.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, so I went to high school in Al Ain in the province of Abu Dhabi, but I'm from Canada. I was from Ontario. I spent most of my 20s in Scotland studying for my PhD.
Yeah.
And then I came back to Canada. And in the process, I took up triathlon there, and I did actually the whole first half of my tri career. I raced for Great Britain and for Scotland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the Olympics was the goal?
I very quickly moved I was in an Olympic distance program.
Yes.
But I really, from the beginning, bought into the whole Ironman thing.
Right.
You know, I saw it on TV. I wanted to do it. I was that person. It's like wanted to do Ironman. So I really didn't have an Olympic goal.
Okay.
And so I moved very quickly. When I was about 26 to Ironman distance. Yeah.
So with Try Equal, when did that come about?
Try Equal. So Try Equal, we started talking early last year, around this time last year,
okay,
about the issue of the inequality of the slots for the pros.
50 men get spots in Kona and 35 women.
Correct, yes. So we came up with the idea of pushing for 50 women to Kona so that there would be equal slots.
Right. Yes.
And we started talking around that and brainstorming ideas about how to get the message out there and how to inform people about the inequality and the reasons why we consider equality to be equitable for the women as well. So we started to just, talk about that. And then Try Equal kind of emerged from that when we realized we had a lot of combined shared goals.
Right. One of the things you mentioned to me when we talked about that, with a lot of the Ironman events, they might not have full fields for the women. And you mentioned that from the very beginning, ITU was always about equality. And in those early ITU races, there might have been 3 or 4 women. And there was always a lot more men. But it was one of those things you sort of need to, if you invest in it, they will come. That seems to be the philosophy.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I just talked to Greg Bennett about this last night, because he was saying he was part of those times when he used to show up at races and there's 60 men at an ITU race and 6 women.
Right.
And he sort of thought, well, this is crap. How come they get the same prize money? And that he came full circle with that in a way.
I'm sure
like,
Laura Bennett, beating him on his wife, Laura, beat him on the head about 30
right.
times. Yes.
He did credit Laura. But what we talked about was that the proof is in the pudding with the ITU, because now the women's race does very much have the depth of the men's race. So it worked in terms of creating the opportunity and the depth following.
And the investment in that. Now, do you see, now that Ironman just bought Lagardère, and that's the group that puts on the ITU races and obviously has been into equality for a long time, do you see that maybe something can come from that?
I do, actually. In fact, when Andrew was speaking just now, I wrote down a little note, contact Marisol right on my paper, or to reach out, because I'd been in contact with her and some others from the ITU when I was doing some research about equality in our sport. So it will be interesting to see whether maybe that connection could help a little bit.
Okay. You've also just recently become part of the Bahrain team.
Yes.
Which is very exciting, right? Especially for someone who's had experience in that part of the world. One of the things that hit me when I went over there to Abu Dhabi and Dubai and Bahrain was the issues they're dealing with childhood obesity, the issues they're dealing with diabetes, and that it seems that, from what people explain to me, that as kids grow up and when they get to a certain age, they're basically told, okay, playtime is over, you need to study now.
Yes.
And then what happens is they start gaining weight and they really don't have those health and fitness lifestyles that they need. And it seems like that's part of the message and part of the mission of the Bahrain team.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I've seen that team has sort of become famous locally in Bahrain. The athletes are famous, and in the United Arab Emirates as well. They have close ties between those countries. And so I think even just having the team appear in the paper every couple of weeks probably provides some inspiration, as well as, the trickle down of the money that's going into the Bahraini national team. So they will have more sort of local heroes being created out of that. There's definitely a problem over there, and that's one of the things that I've been asked to kind of speak to and write about. So hopefully we can try to make a little difference.
From your experience living over there, did you see that? Did you see that there was a problem with childhood obesity?
Absolutely.
And with,
Yeah, absolutely. So my dad was the director of colleges, and he worked in the education system, and they always had a gym. They always built a gym in these brand new colleges, just
Sure.
like any other place. And you would go there. I loved going there because there was never anyone in the gym. So I could just go and sort of tumbleweed blowing across the treadmill sort of thing, and I saw that especially with the kids. When at my school there were, local kids who were there, 9, 10 years old, and they really didn't do a lot of physical activity. And you could see that they, their diets, a lot of Western foods had just been introduced.
that was a big issue, right? All of a sudden
Yeah.
you've got McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicken and all that good stuff coming to that
Right.
part of the world. And they're not
Right.
used to it.
Yeah, exactly. Because they literally went from this sort of nomadic tribal people in the desert to, suddenly having all these Western, like you say, the Western foods. And it's really the sugar. It's the sugar that's killing people everywhere. Right?
Yeah. So what will you be spending more time then in that part of the world as part of your role with the Bahrain team?
Yeah, so I'm going to have an opportunity to go there 2 or 3 times. I'm actually leaving this afternoon and to go over there, and I'm on a relay this weekend at the 70.3 with 2 locals. So that'll be fun. A national team cyclist and a national team runner, and I'm the swimmer, so I have to. I know, and I'm not that fit, so I'll just go really hard for 1.9.
For someone with a PhD, and obviously there's a lot of money to be made in the business world, to be immersed in the sport of triathlon, what does a sport bring to you that's important?
Yeah, that's a good question. I see that sport has this ability to bring people together and to connect cultures and to create a healthy lifestyle, and especially triathlon because it's an individual sport. So I love the opportunity to sort of do that, watch people do that, talk about people doing that, and then expand and talking about the issues, about some things that, the things people struggle with, or about cultural issues with the Middle East, so to be able to do both sides of that and still do my sport, love my sport, and hopefully, try to write something smart about it.
Best race you've ever had?
Oh.
And it doesn't necessarily be your best performance, the one that means the most to you.
Whoa, tough one. In 2005, I had just, I sort of was just a new elite athlete, and I was on the British team, and I went to the ITU long course European Championship, and I won out of nowhere. I mean,
Just
literally,
surprised everybody.
literally. I remember my main competition was Bella Bayless, who was
sure,
Bella
remember that,
Comerford back then.
yeah.
And I and her and I were both on the British team together, and we were duking it out for first and second. But that kind of surprise win was really cool.
And ultimate goal?
Oh, ultimate goal. I think I'm like past the peak on the ultimate goal. One thing I really wanted to have a good performance in Kona, whether that meant top 10 or top 15. And I haven't really ever done that.
You haven't done that yet.
No, I haven't done that yet. But winning Ironman was a really big goal for me for a long time. So I'm glad I got that one.
2 of them off in the same year, right?
Yeah.
2014.
Yeah.
You get 2 Ironman wins.
Exactly. It was
Boom.
like a wasteland and then 2. I don't know how that happened.
I love that. Sara, thank you for everything you're doing for the sport. And we will see you. I think we'll be doing this maybe we won't do it on Monday. We might do it on Thursday in Dubai.
Okay, and Thursday in Dubai. I'll see you there.
I love it. Sara Gross has been our guest. Hold on, everyone. We will be right back.